like if you found the video valuable. In the year 3091, long after Earth had become a myth passed down between the stars, the remaining shards of humanity drifted across galaxies aboard city ships. These ships, floating citadels of light and steel, were ruled not by politicians or kings, but by a mysterious order known as the Star Whisperers, people who could speak to celestial bodies. Only one remained. Her name was Kira Valen, and she was not what people expected of a legend. Kira was 29, scrappy, and a reluctant hero. She didn't wear flowing robes or carry ancient relics, just a tattered leather jacket, a half-broken translator module, and an uneasy alliance with her ship's AI named Obelisk. Stellar drift at 20%. Wormhole stability at 95, said Obelisk in its cool, genderless voice. Remind me why I signed up for this again? Kira asked, spinning a metal ring on her finger, a gift from her mentor, now long gone. Because you're the last Star Whisperer, and you want answers. That part was true. For weeks, she'd been following strange transmissions from the edge of the worn spiral, a dead zone of space where even black holes dared not linger. The signal repeated a message in an ancient dialect. We see you, Whisperer. The stars remember. She didn't know what it meant, but something in her bones, a feeling she could never explain, pulled her closer. 3 days later, the ship, Indigo Wake, hovered at the edge of the spiral. Before her lay nothing but shimmering void and fractured light, like glass shattered across reality. Kira took a breath and stepped into the star chamber, a room built for whispering. She placed her palms against the orb in the center. It pulsed, slowly at first, then faster, syncing with her heartbeat. Her thoughts quieted, her eyes turned white. Star of Ashara, what lies beyond? Silence, then, a whisper, truth. Suddenly, the chamber trembled. The orb lit with violent red streaks. Obelisk shouted through the intercom, unidentified anomaly detected. Kira, you need to stop. Too late. The ship was pulled into a rift, twisting through impossible physics and impossible time. Kira collapsed, her mind flooded with images of dying stars, screaming suns, and a planet. Earth? But it wasn't Earth as she had read in archives. It was alive, vibrant, calling her name. She awoke in a desert. 2 suns blazed overhead. Obelisk's voice crackled in her earpiece, weak and distorted. Are you alive? I think so, she croaked. Where are we? A planet, not on any star map. Biome suggests Earth-like conditions. In the distance stood a spire, glowing faintly. Instinct drove her toward it. The Spire of Echoes. Inside the spire, symbols she'd only seen in ancient Star Whisperer scrolls glowed softly on the walls. At its center was a throne, and seated on it was a man. Or what looked like one. You made it, he said, smiling. Kira instinctively reached for her plasma blade. Who are you? I am the first Whisperer, before the stars were born. Before time was named. Impossible. The first Whisperer died millennia ago. He chuckled. Time is a spiral, Kira. Not a line. He stood, stepping forward. His eyes were galaxies. His skin shimmered with constellations. You were summoned because the stars fear silence, he said. You're the last Whisperer, and silence is coming. Kira narrowed her eyes. What silence? The kind that consumes suns. The kind that makes galaxies forget their names. Behind him, the spire pulsed and showed visions. Stars blinking out one by one, not by age, but erasure. There is a force, he continued, older than the stars. A hunger. It was sealed long ago. But now, only a Whisperer can reach it, and only a Whisperer can stop it. The journey into the null. Kira followed the old Whisperer, or his echo, perhaps, through a gateway hidden in the spire. It led into the null, a void between galaxies. Light refused to exist here. Memory frayed. Even thoughts became ghosts. But the orb she carried glowed stronger than ever. You are the bridge, the voice whispered again. Speak. She placed the orb on the surface of an ancient altar floating in space. She whispered not with her voice, but her soul. We remember. You are not forgotten. Suddenly, the null screamed. Something ancient stirred. A creature forged of unbeing. It writhed, trying to escape. You must bind it, the voice cried, with your memory of light. Kira held the orb tight and began to whisper every memory she had, of stars, of laughter, of her mentor, of the feeling of warmth on her skin from an alien sun. The orb blazed like a newborn universe. The creature shrieked and began to fade, not destroyed, but remembered back into slumber. Because nothing truly dies if it is remembered. The return. When Kira opened her eyes, she was back in the star chamber of her ship. Obelisk's voice came through. Systems online. You were gone, for 5 seconds. She sat up, blinking. Only 5 seconds? But she knew better. The orb sat silently beside her. Its surface had changed. Where once there was chaos, now a single phrase shimmered. We whisper, so the stars remember. 1 week later, Kira set the Indigo Wake's course not toward home, but toward the unknown. The galaxy needed whisperers again. She would teach, she would guide, because the silence would come again. And this time, the stars would be ready.